morning, and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones. Tim has the morning off. We also want to welcome you if you're watching here on KREM 2+. But as things get started, I think you just saw that what was on the screen. It's called a bomb cyclone. So that's why we've got to check in with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, what does that mean and what is it going to bring?
Yeah, so what the bomb cyclone means, it references the low pressure area, the storm's core, and it strengthens very fast. And because of that, it can really pull in a lot of strength very quickly. For us, that's going to result in snowfall for tomorrow morning. Here's just kind of the baseline for Wednesday. We've got winter weather advisories for most of the inland Northwest. For the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas, that goes until 10 a.m. on Wednesday. But watch how our northern areas like northeastern Washington and far north Idaho, this actually goes until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. So it is a difference in terms of who sees the snow the longest for tomorrow. Our northern areas are going to get a longer duration snowfall and thus higher snowfall totals. In the meantime, we've got mostly cloudy skies, but a cold morning out there. 29 degrees, chance for black ice around the Spokane area, and there is some very light snow occurring over central Washington. So don't be off your guard for today, but tomorrow is definitely going to be the bigger event when it comes to the snow.
All righty, Thomas, we'll continue to keep checking in with your forecast. But right now, taking a live look at some of the traffic conditions as this morning gets underway. Time now 6:02. We're taking a live look at I-90 and US 2. Good amount of cars out there on the roads, but no backups at this particular point. But right here on Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes, so we'll keep you updated. Sticking on the roads, and before the snow starts falling, we want to remind you all drivers need to be careful when driving near snow plows. If you see a plow on the road, go ahead, remember to give them plenty of room. You should also avoid passing or tailgating them and watch out for that cloud of snow or water spray the plows create because it can block your own view of the roads. The cold weather is going to be around for the next few days as well, so go ahead and remember as well to dress as if you were going to be stranded or keep a warm coat or blanket in your car. Open the garage door before starting your car, of course, because this prevents carbon monoxide buildup, which is extremely hazardous. Bring your snow brush or your ice scraper inside for easy access. Back into parking spaces if you can, so it's easier to leave. And we all know those frozen windshield wipers are annoying, so go ahead and lift them up while parked outside. Time now is 6:03. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's top stories. We begin first in Pullman. The Pullman community is mourning the loss of a 13-year-old killed in a crash near Rosalia this weekend. According to the Washington State Patrol, a semi-truck jackknifed across the road, crashing and killing 13-year-old Zion Bischoff. We learned his father was an employee of WSU, and yesterday during WSU's weekly press conference, head football coach Jake Dickard revealed Zion was close friends with his daughter.
It's a special place where Washington State is Pullman and Pullman is Washington State, and we are one community. We just really offer our condolences, prayers, and thoughts, and everyone in our community, we're with you. It was a tough day.
The Cougs will wear a special ZB badge on their helmets this weekend when they face OSU. New overnight, the Central Valley School District Board approved a new resolution and letter on transgender athletes less than a week after their first meeting about it. In this new revised letter to be sent to the WIAA, the board is asking the organization to create dialogue and protect sports for biological girls. The letter argues students born male have a biological advantage over students born female, and according to current WIAA protocols, student athletes are allowed to compete in sports based on the gender they identify with. The Washington court system is back online following a cyber attack, allowing background checks on guns to resume. The state says no data breach was detected, and that's a look at this morning's top stories. More than 7 years ago, the city of Airway Heights and Fairchild Air Force Base learned their water was contaminated with PFAS. We now know Spokane International Airport also knew way back then it had the same issue but never told anyone. The result, hundreds unknowingly continuing to drink contaminated water. This morning, KREM 2 investigates why didn't it alert the public earlier and why did it take citizen sleuths digging up documents to reveal the truth. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy spoke with one neighbor who helped bring it all to light.
that would be good.
In his West Spokane pastures, Craig Volasing's personal
I
paradise.
think these horses may be just too curious. They're really friendly.
Is contained.
Always wanted to be with horses, and so this was the place for me.
A peaceful haven until 2017, when per and polyfluoral alkyl substances, PFAS, were detected in Airway Heights water and private wells, traced back to firefighting foam used at Fairchild Air Force Base. The same foam, Volasing knew, used at Spokane International Airport, just miles southwest of his home.
2018, we had our well tested here, and it was negative. But I told my wife, it's coming, and it did.
Up until earlier this year, it was believed this problem only impacted people on the west side of this arbitrary boundary, Hayford Road. It wasn't until concerned citizens later dug up the airport on the opposite side was testing its own wells and finding similar issues.
Found they had PFAS, plenty of it, and chose to say nothing.
Citizen-initiated public records requests turned up the airport's own test results from 2017 and 2019, showing the contamination. PFAS weren't listed as hazardous and thus state-regulated until 2021. That's when SIA had a legal responsibility to report the findings, but it didn't.
No, we didn't know until it was reported, like you said, by a concerned citizen in 2023.
Nicholas Acklam of Eastern Washington's Toxic Cleanup Program shared the complaint made in March 2023. The Department of Ecology has since tested 411 wells east of Hayford Road.
And about 65% of those had concentrations above our action levels.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a significant number. And we're working as fast as we can.
And we are 7 years behind. This could have started back in 2017 and 18, but didn't. And the question remains just why.
An August site assessment identified around a dozen points where firefighting foam was used or stored. Working under an ecology enforcement order, SIA must sample the dirt and groundwater at each site before any cleanup can begin.
Average is about 12 years, but that's average. This is a pretty complex site, so it certainly could take longer. Ecology
is still trying to determine the true scope and scale of the airport contamination and where the chemicals have traveled.
So that's really the first step. It's really hard to design a feasibility study until you know the full nature and extent of where your contamination is.
Volasing's well tested PFAS positive early this year.
Typical pump house.
What used to be a source of pride, fresh drinking water has been replaced with bottled jugs.
That's provided to us happily by the Department of Ecology and EPA as a stopgap.
Though the well still flows to their greenhouse and livestock. Volasing says the cattle they raise for customers has, so far, tested negative. Though he's curious how these chemicals may be impacting other lives in his paradise.
And see if they've got any PFAS in their systems. Good.
As he waits to see whether this problem will finally be contained. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
The Department of Ecology and the airport are currently drafting the first work plans to address contamination on airport property. Late last week, the Spokane International Airport announced longtime CEO Larry Crowder is departing. He'll take over as CEO at Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport next year.
It is 6:10 as we take you outside. Tomorrow is going to be a weather impact alert day due to the snow that's going to be on the way, especially right during the morning commute hour. So that's going to be our big concern for Wednesday morning. As for this morning, obviously cold out here, wearing the hat for the first time from our outdoor weather center. A bit of light snow is actually starting to develop across central Washington. So from Moses Lake, and you can actually follow this almost to about the Harrington area. We'll see how far eastward this can make it and if it does eventually snow here in Spokane. So far, so good, though. We'll keep an eye out on that through the rest of this morning. The afternoon, just mostly cloudy, 38 degrees, bit of a calm moment before that snow begins for tomorrow. So coming up, we'll go city by city, tell you how much snow you can anticipate and exactly when that snow is going to start and how heavily it impacts the morning commute. That's all coming up in a few minutes.